Welcome to Toffee TV, joined by Cam in the studio. We're just going to have a little chat about Everton's recruitment process so far and what we still hope to do before the window shuts. It's, what's we recording? The second week in August. It's roasting.
It is.
It is roasting, isn't it? How have you found Everton's recruitment so far this summer?
Positive. Very, very positive, which isn't a word I've used to describe Everton's recruitment very often in recent years. But it seems like, dare I say, that we're moving in the right directions. It seems like there's a plan. It seems like Kevin Thelwell has come in and known what is needed to be done and sort of put it into place, which, you know, it's easy for us to sit here and say wasn't hard because we've sat here for years as Evertonians and said we need this type of player, we need that profile of player, we need, you know, this defender, that defender. But, you know, I can't imagine it to be the easiest job in the world when you come into a club that's so sort of scattered and everything all over the place and failed so miserably in that sort of sense over the last 4 or 5 years. I can't imagine it to be just as easy as coming in and getting it right. So I think Kevin Thelwell deserves a lot of credit, but the players that we're bringing in, I think the manager and director of football have so far seemed to get a good gel between players that are ready to step in now and improve Everton now, and then obviously your Onana and your Dwight McNeil, who are more sort of geared towards the future, can still step in and do that role now, but have got 5-6 years ahead of them where they'll learn and they'll become much better footballers. We knew we needed centre-backs this season. We went out and bought Tarkowski, who's one of the most reliable centre-halves in the country and has come in and since being here has done a brilliant job. We then needed another centre-back. We went and brought in, you know, a captain of a side who's a leader and missed 3 Premier League games in 46 years or whatever it is and has been really solid. And one thing I think I give credit for is for far too long Everton have, whether it be purposely or not purposely, brought in players that one week might be a 10 out of 10 and the next week it'll be a 1 out of 10. And you can't build a team around those types of players because there's no consistency, there's no reliability. And the players on the pitch that are around them, Jordan Pickford might be looking at a certain centre defender and thinking, I don't know if I'm getting a 10 out of 10 out of you or I'm getting a 1 out of 10 out of you. Whereas now with Tarkowski and Cody, they're the types of players that you know you're getting 7, 8 out of 10 every week consistently. They'll never be unbelievable and they'll probably never be really bad, they'll just be there. And I think we've identified that this summer. Onana's a great signing, young and up and coming. I think the Garner signing works with Onana coming in, if Garner is to come in, of course. And now we're just a striker away from...
We'll obviously come on to that, but just back on Tarkowski, obviously, a few eyebrows were raised when Everton were looking at him by certain fans and stuff, and there's been a message, hasn't it, that's gone amongst Evertonians of we want young, hungry players and all that. But he was on a free transfer, given his Premier League experience. He was a no-brainer, wasn't he? And also, he's proven since he's been here, he's actually a better footballer than people give him credit for.
He's our best passer of the ball.
You know, his passing so far has been absolutely fantastic. And you're right, we kicked the Premier League season off last week. We had a centre-back after 10 minutes with a broken leg. And we lost the other one after whatever it was, an hour, 70 minutes, and he's out for a while as well. And then to go and get Connor Cody on the Monday. I know Everton had started the ball rolling the previous week, but it was imperative we got Cody in as quickly as possible to get him. And you're right, those two come in and no fuss, are they? No. They're both lads who
know what they're doing.
Hard on the training ground, set examples, loads of Premier League experience between them. Leaders. I'm not going to go back over the injury stuff because I don't want to think anything, but the leaders, Frank Lampard spoke at pains at the end of last season about robust footballers. Yeah. We need robust players. We need people who are going to be available. We need leaders in there. Certainly in those two, as a partnership, that's kind of what him and Kevin Thelwell have been able to bring in. Yeah,
I think the pair of them are fantastic signings. Connor Cody one is still a little bit surreal, in not the sense that he's the best defender on the planet and we're sitting here going, oh my God, but it's just a bit surreal that such a solid defender who's, you know, been at the forefront of a Wolves team that, and not many teams do this when they come up to the Premier League. You know, teams will have a good season and then they'll struggle. Wolves come up and have been absolutely sound since they come up. Yeah. And Connor Cody was a big part of that. I was reading an article in The Athletic last week, I think it was in The Athletic, talking about how in Wolves' academy they teach the Cody role. to the young lads because he was brought in as a central midfielder, goal-scoring midfielder. He was brought in at Wolves apparently, and he's adapted himself that much over the years that he's now in a role that they teach to their young players, such that leadership role in the back 3/5. And there's ultimately 2 players that are going to come in and give absolutely everything and are no nonsense. They know how to defend, they do the basics, and that's what we needed. Just
on that, we will move on, but just on that, that's really important for the development of other. We've got obviously Reece Welsh, who's a young centre back. Looks like physically he's going to have the attributes. For him to be training with these lads, learning off them, even someone like Mason Holgate, who I thought had a good game when he come on against Chelsea. Yeah. Is a centre-back who's lost his way, and a lot of people probably shouting at the camera now going, he's not good enough or whatever, but he's proven at times he is good enough. Yeah. But then he's done that thing that I think we both talked about loads of times where he's just dipped.
Yeah.
And dipped too often. If you've got him working with them every day, and they are leaders, and he's seeing how they behave and how they organise in games, then you'd like to think that it would rub off on him. And then Ben Godfrey, when he comes back from his injury, is a young centre-back who's still, at times, positionally not right. Yeah. Pace-wise, fantastic. Strong in the tackle, excellent. Not great in the air, so he's got to improve that. But position, I think, with Ben Godfrey, he's going to develop, surely, because of that.
The coaches on the pitch, aren't they, ultimately? It's the same with Seamus Coleman and Nathan Patterson. It'll be the same with Garner and Onana. This was my point with Garner when we were first initially linked with him. I said, I've got no problem, because Garner improves us in the here and now, which I understand for Frank and Kevin Thelwell. They'll have been looking at that team thinking, we need players that are going to come in now and improve us. But it was always going to be, well, what's next after Garner? Because in 2 or 3 years, Garner won't be here. So it's all right bringing Garner in. Well, who's going to be the next to Garner? And then we brought in Onana. And that's because bringing in experienced players like Garner, Tarkowski, Cody, Onana. I just said Onana, didn't I?
Oh, that's what I said.
Sorry.
Apologies.
Sorry, I'd listened to it that much that it just become...
Go on.
The coach on the pitch, you've already seen Tarkowski. In the very few games he's had as an Everton player already, you can see him talking to people, moving people, leading as by example. And Everton have been a club for far too long who've just had no leadership on the pitch, no communication. Players that drop their head when they conceded. If you watch any of Wolves' goals conceded last season, Conor Cody doesn't drop his head. His head doesn't go down, it comes up. Same with Tarkowski, it comes up, they scream, they shout, they move people about. And that is ultimately what we've needed as players that are in there to be, solid Premier League experienced, reliable centre-backs or centre midfielders, but also players that will be able to coach the younger players. And I think Ben Godfrey will learn endless amounts of Tarkowski and Cody when he's back in. And if Mason Holgate is going to be a successful centre-back at Everton, he will do it, learning from them too.
We've also seen, obviously, Ruben Van Agri come in to cover Michalenko and to battle with him for that left-back spot, which I think is not a bad thing to have. He's obviously Premier League experience with Wolves, played in Europe as well, so that's not a bad thing to have. And then into midfield, you've mentioned Onana, but you're excited by that sign. That's the one I think that's caught the imagination of a lot of Evertonians.
Yeah, definitely. The Van Agri one's interesting, I think, because Premier League experience as well comes in, obviously, as I said, and will ultimately, not that Michalenko really needed a kick up the backside, because he's been absolutely brilliant since he's been here, but it's healthy competition, and he'll be looking now thinking, right, I can't get into this mindset, whether it be conscious or subconscious, of I'm guaranteed a space every week here, so it doesn't matter. The Onana signing is brilliant. It's exactly the type of targeted profile of player that we've been sat here talking about Everton going for years and years. I remember last summer, the summer before, we all sat here and said this type of player, and we never really seemed to go for that. And even the beginning of this summer, when we were being linked with Harry Winks, and it was almost like, oh, here we go again.
They were linked.
We're not I know that's what I'm saying, but it was almost like are we going for this type of... I remember last summer was Rabiot and Aaron Ramsey for 6 weeks, and now we seem to be looking at Mo Kamara. Onana's come in, and Onana, even though obviously we've only seen...
They all rhyme, don't they?
They do all rhyme, and they're all unbelievable for songs as well, by the way. Unbelievable for song choices. But he, 6'5", speaks a lot of different languages, which is he almost... And this is going to sound mad, because I've watched him for Lille, and I've seen him in bits, and from what I've seen of him at Everton is only the backstage stuff and a couple of pictures of him training. But he just... I don't know what it is. It might just be me looking into it a bit much. He almost seems like a leader himself. He sort of oozes that, and it might be because of his height, his physical presence. He oozes that. I've seen a video going around on Twitter of bit of the behind the scenes of him signing, and there's one where they ask him to get a picture stood on the badge in Finch Farm, and he said, I'm not standing on it. He says, I don't believe in standing on it, so I'm not standing on it, and he goes and stands next to it. And it's just little things like that. He just seems like he's very assured of himself and knows himself, knows what he wants. Not, you know, we've seen other players signing and they're a bit shy and they're a bit like, he just seems like, I'm the, you know, the video where he walks in the gym and he's like, boss this. He seems like he knows, and that's the type of personality you need, a player that's going to step on that pitch in the midfield and go, right, I'm here now, I've got this is what I'm going to do. And we will have to be patient with him, and he'll probably get a shock because it's the Premier League and it's a different league, but he's got all of the right attributes to be a top player.
The other couple you've mentioned, obviously Ghana at the moment, may or may not happen. Everton have agreed a deal with PSG by all accounts and agreed a deal with Ghana by all accounts. There's something between him and PSG, and he's obviously on very good wages in France and won't be on anywhere near them wages at Everton, so that might be making him think, do I or don't I? Mo Camara, you've mentioned there was a link to him. I think Everton have been watching him for a while. They're very interested in him, but it depends whether the finances work with that one. But if Everton were to get one of those two, we'd be happy. I think we'd be more than happy, especially if we got, for me, if we got, I really like Ghana. If we got Kamara, I'd think, would there be, because he's a proper six.
I meant to ask this before on the live, would there be, we're not going to get Kamara and Ghana. No. We're not going to get the both of them. Now, Kamara would be the one I think most Evertonians would say, well, obviously he's 10 years younger, loads of potential. You know the way we were talking about Cody and Tarkowski working with Godfrey and Holgate and coaching on the pitch, and Patterson with Coleman, etc. And it would have been Ghana with Onana. Would there be a bit of you that would be a little bit sort of, not worried, but questioning if you brought Kamara and Onana in, who's going to be that one to sort of be able to coach them there and then? Or are you more just okay because it's Frank Lampard and he was a centre midfielder and this, that and the other? Because I think the big sort of, I suppose, for me, selling point with Ghana isn't Ghana coming back or Ghana being boss. Like, it was having somebody of Ghana's experience and quality when he was at his best was, let's be honest, in the top 2 or 3 in the league at that role, coaching Onana. Would there be a bit of a worry if it was Kamara coming, that who's there in that midfield now to run? You could say Decore, but then them two seem to have a ceiling that will be surpassed Decore.
Yeah, it's a good question, to be honest. Obviously Ghana has got all the experience. We know him, but he's 3 years older than he was.
Yeah.
But he's still, what I'd seen him from last season, he was still all over the gap. Yeah. So I think he improves us. So it is a good question because it does allow people like Onana to grow. I think he'd help Decore out, to be honest. I think he'd help Iwobi. Ghana, I think he'd help them just naturally the way he is. I think you trade that off with Mo Camara as a 6. He can play, he can do other stuff as well, but he's 22. Yeah. Mobile, brave, cheaper wages, you'd have him for longer. A player who you could flip in a few years, even if he does really well, and sell on again. So there is one of them. So it's, you go for potential with Camara sitting, and then you've got Decore and Onana, or Iwobi and Onana with them 3 in there. Yes, might be a little bit of inexperience, maybe, but if you know the role, then the role doesn't change. If you're the 6 and Austria, of course, there's a difference in the Premier League, but still your position. And he's mobile enough, so he's not going to get done with the mobility. But I do get the point because Ghana is experienced, and he's also been playing with Messi and people like that. So
it just seems like it's
a lovely, to be honest,
that's
Cam,
the plan. It seems
it's
like
a lovely
problem to have.
It's a lovely position to be in, to go, well, if we don't get him, we get him. And they're both good players.
Yeah, exactly.
And then obviously, very quickly, just to wrap up, we're sat here needing a centre forward. Obviously, we lost Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I think the plan from Everton was we'll have Dom and we want Brozier, and we're happy if Chelsea turn around and go, listen, we're only going to decide the last couple of days of this window. We're happy to wait because we want Brozier because we've got Dom. Obviously, we lost Dominic Calvert-Lewin last week before the season started, so the need for the striker is just all eyes on it, because obviously we've lost Richarlison. And a club like Everton really should have 3 centre forwards who are all capable of starting.
We've now got
certainly 2 and a sub. We've got Rondon, who's a sub, haven't we? And we're going to have to rely on him. But are you worried, or are you thinking the club have done really well so far with the limited amount of money they've had? Like, when I say limited, I know they still spent some money, but it's all down payment. But with the recruitment that's gone on so far, are you more confident they'll arrive at where they want?
Absolutely. I'm not worried. I said it a few weeks ago before Onana, before Cody, when we'd only signed Tarkowski and we had that period of 3 or 4 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks where we weren't really being linked with anyone. Morgan Gibbs-White was the only player. I said I'd be worried when we get to the end of the transfer window and I'm looking thinking we've got Rondon for 6 months or we've got no centre midfielders, we're going to have to play Gomez. Fast forward a few weeks later, we've brought in Onana, Cody's come in, we've brought in Vinagre, Dwight McNeil's come in. So it sounds mad because I haven't trusted Everton to get things right in the past because we haven't got things right in the past, but I just seem to think there's a bit of a difference here. I don't think Kevin Thelwell, I think Kevin Thelwell's more than experienced enough to know that we cannot go the next 2, 3, 4 months
and Frank
without
Lampard
a striker. And
will
Frank
want
Lampard
a striker,
will not be, even if it's somebody that we go, he's all right, he wasn't what we like, but I'm confident in saying there will be a striker through the door before the end of the window. Now, obviously, there's different options, and it depends whether we want to go for somebody that is very similar to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and I agree with what Ped said before. It'll be hard, but we should be going with somebody that we think is better than Dominic Calvert-Lewin, because then it's up to Dom to prove that he's better than said striker. They do, exactly, that's what I'm saying, but and it's difficult because of where we are in the transfer window and financially and stuff. But that's the type, we shouldn't be going for somebody that we know when Dom's back fit.
He's got no chance.
Well, he's got no chance because he'll just be on the bench. A little bit like we did with Rondon last season, to be honest. But it's difficult because of money and stuff. But I'm confident that we'll bring in a centre forward because we need to. We simply can't.
No, we
can't not.
We absolutely, we need a forward. And I finish with the question that I've asked on our lives and that this week. If you had a choice between Garner and a forward, or not having Garner but getting a striker and another goal-scoring winger, what would you choose? So Garner in the sense of Garner and a forward player can be a wide player or whatever, or sacrifice Garner because of the money I'm talking about and just get 2 forward players. What would you do?
I think I'd rather have 2 forward players, to be honest.
Would you?
Yeah, because well, is the player that comes in with Garner a goal scoring forward? Or
well, I don't know. It could be Everton could go for, say, Garassi, who've been linked with at Rennes, and yes, let's just use. I know Emmanuel Dennis has been Forest a bit, but just let's say it was Emmanuel Dennis and Garassi. So Dennis has got the ability to score goals from wide. Garassi's through the middle.
And it was Garner and who?
Or Garner and whoever. Another forward.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because we've got
I can't
3 forward players there that don't score. So
That's
and we had 3 of them that played the other day, and we couldn't create a sausage roll in a bakery. So
there you go.
It is tough. I think it's difficult because you're then putting a lot of trust in Onana to be able to step in and be brilliant.
It's just a quick question, Cam. What would you do?
If it was a goal-scoring forward with Garner, I'd probably go with that option. But if it was just a winger that is capable of scoring a few goals, I'd rather have the 2 forwards. We need a goal scorer at the end of the day. And I know it's great to have somebody that can play across the 3 because City have got it. And so, but even City are now transitioning to just having Haaland, a centre forward. Liverpool have transitioned from that 3 to, right, we've got a centre forward now.
But they'll all still score.
But they'll all still score, of course they will. But that's a risk in it because we've got forward players that play in the wing that don't score. So I think I'd rather have the out and out centre forward, whoever that comes with, whether it comes with Garner or not.
Interesting. There you go. There you go. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Have you found Everton's recruitment so far? Are you pleased? We know the centre forward. We know it. We're all in the same boat. I think we're all desperate for at least 1, if not 2 strikers, because we know. But are you being impressed so far? And who do you want as the striker? And as a third, if you can be bothered filling this many comments in, would you rather have 2 forwards, or are you happy with Garner and 1 forward? Let us know in the comments section below. Give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't. If you want more videos, including daily live videos, join Toffee TV Premier. Link is in the description and it's on the screen now. Big thanks to Cam. See you later.